So, hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a topic that's quite important in linguistics, which is quantitative linguistics. So, one easy way of doing a quantitative study is to think of your variable, your hypotheses, whether you have a null hypothesis or even something like an alternative hypothesis. And also, you need to go into sampling, you need to go into the idea of finding sampling and the how good your sampling is, because after all, you're going to do all the study based on this. But again, what happens next is basically related to how good you are at stats or statistics. So basically, when you think of this, you need to be able to use one of these statistical softwares, things like SPSS or R. What do I recommend for anyone who's starting this is to start using or at least to learn R, because R is, first of all, it's easy, free, and it has tons of backing up information out there. Whenever you run into a problem, you will find tons of people who are, again, very helpful, and you will get into a lot of resources that it's quite helpful to you to handle the issue at hand. So, one area, for example, wherein you can use R to help you out with the study you are conducting has to do with correlation. And the idea of correlation, you need to find out the connection, the relationship between two variables. So, let's say, for example, you are thinking of your students' performance in class and their final grading or their GPA. So you're saying, for example, if someone who is, let's say, participating a lot in class will do well at the final exam. So you need to find this correlation. So what you need to do by the end of the semester, you're going to have all the scores of the final exam, right? So that's not a big issue. But when it comes to participation, you need to quantify it. So, for example, things like good participation or excellent participation, doing this kind of categorical thing or even ordinal thing like first, second, third can be helpful when it comes to quantification. So what you're going to do is you need to also be very specific and provide some reliable quantification. So providing like random scores to every student is not a good thing to start out with, because again, anyone can easily question your findings. So what you should do is to depend on one of the platform you're using for teaching. So one easy way, for example, I remember when I was teaching back in Egypt, we were using something like LMS, and this LMS has great potentials. Something like it records everything students does on this platform. So how many hours he or she logs into this system, how many participations are there, how many quizzes he or she takes, how many discussions he or she posts in. So here you can use this. So for example, we have like participation scores or participation weight out of the score of the course. So let's say 20%. So in this case, if you can use this platform to help you out with this, you can simply use this platform to get you a quantitative data. So you're going to get, for example, 20 out of 25 or 10 out of 15. Again, you have a maximum degree, you have a minimum degree, and you're going to, based on this kind of participation, you can, again, have it in there, the system. Again, a lot of people would say, why don't I use their participation in class? Because, again, it depends. So sometimes, for example, if you're going to say, I'm going to grade students based on how many questions they ask it in class. So maybe you're having some good students with great, high performing students, their GPA are great or they are overperforming, so they don't have any question. You introduce the material you're just proposing, and they are totally fine with it, so they don't have any question. Would you consider them to be again less participating? But when it comes to the final exam, they are doing very well, even better than the people who asked like 100 questions. So in this case, it's not valid. That's why using the platform is a good way of quantifying your finding or quantifying the variable. Because when you're using R, you need to find out quantitative data because that works best on R. So what you need to do is to find out again the correlation between both of them. How can we do this in R? In R, you usually use like the correlation coefficient. You're gonna use the coefficient of determination, and also you need to specify which kind of coefficient you're gonna use because we're having three main types basically used in humanities or linguistic speaking. So let's say, for example, if you are comparing quantitative data or continuous data or even numerical data, you need to use the person method of the correlation function again. But when it comes to categorical and, for example, numerical data, you need to think of some other method. You need to consult some kind of statistician or your mentor if you are working under the supervision of a professor. But one more thing that I need to share with you, for example, the correlation that you're going to get from R does not provide you, yeah, it provides you with some kind of correlation between the two variable, but we don't have a p-value. And the importance of the p-value for the people who are not familiar with that, it again makes us confidently reject the null hypothesis. So if you can get a p-value less than 0. Uh, 0.05, I guess. Yes, it's 0.5. You will be able to confidently reject the null hypothesis. But the other way round will be problematic for you because it means that the correlation you're getting, maybe it is there due to chance. So they are not again correlated in a greater way, in a significant way, statistically significant way. One more thing that you need to do after doing the correlation function in R and getting some correlation value, what you need to do is to find out the p-value, the level of significance, or the level where you can say that correlation in my data is statistically significant. And you can do this by using the core test. Again, the core test is just write down the code in R, cor.test, and specify the kind of data, the data set you're using, and also the kind of method and the kind of, let's say, for example, complete observation, or if you're having some kind of missing data, you need to specify this to R to get some results. One more thing that you need to keep in mind is you have also Pearson and Spearman, and you need to find the differences between them because, for example, if you're having numerical or parametric data or non-parametric data, basically the difference between them is normal distribution wise. So parametric data is supposed to be normally distributed while non-parametric data is supposed to be non-normally distributed. So in this case, you need to ask yourself what kind of function I'm going to use. Is it the person or the experiment? And also you can easily get this by consulting a statistician or even you're talking to your mentor. That's all I needed to share with you. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you. Bye.